Ugandans as well as their citizens need to do.
Data from 2024 and 2025 indicates that approximately 118,000 to 120 Ugandans leave the country each year seeking long-term residence or employment abroad. However, the total number of Ugandans living overseas remains uncertain, with official estimates ranging from 600,000 to over 3 million. United Nations figures from 2020 placed the number of Ugandan immigrants at around 781,400.
And now in more news, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, has called on graduates of St. Lawrence University to become innovators whose technology to address community challenges, rather than merely being consuming digital tools. Speaking at the university's 16th graduation ceremony, Alupo emphasized the role of information and communication technology in creating solutions across sectors such as agriculture, communication and service delivery, urging graduates to apply their academic knowledge responsibly for social transformation. Our reporter Julius Muhumuza has more to this report.
The Chancellor of St. Lawrence University and Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, has urged graduates to become innovators rather than mere consumers of technology. Speaking at the university's 16th graduation ceremony in Rubaga, she emphasized that graduates should leverage ICT to develop solutions addressing community challenges, particularly in sectors such as agriculture and communication.
It was designed to empower you to solve problems practically, ethically, and creatively within your communities. You are expected to be innovators, entrepreneurs, and responsible digital citizens. As you apply artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, remember that true progress must always be guided by ethics, integrity, and respect for human dignity.
Alupo added that academic qualifications should be used responsibly, urging graduates to avoid misusing their knowledge and to apply their skills for the betterment of their communities.
Today, you receive your academic awards, but most importantly, you receive responsibility, as I said before. Carry the name of St. Lawrence University with pride. Use your knowledge to serve society, uplift communities, and contribute meaningfully to national development.
She also highlighted that government initiatives to expand access to universal education have allowed many universities to grow and produce highly skilled graduates.
And today, as we mark 19 years of existence, we look back with gratitude and forward with confidence. From its location near Kabaka's Lake, the largest man-made lake in Uganda, this university has grown steadily into a center of learning, committed to innovation, ethics, and community transformation. Our physical location reminds us that depth, reflection, and purposeful design are essential for lasting impact.
The Vice Chancellor of St. Lawrence University, Charles Masaba, stated that the institution is integrating artificial intelligence and digital skills across academic programs to foster innovation and support student startup incubation.
All academic programs at the university are now being redesigned and are to be delivered using a competency-based mode. This means all programs are being redesigned around real-world competencies. Learning is to be student-centered rather than teacher-centered. Assessment focuses on skills and performance, not memorization.
He also urged graduates to apply the knowledge they gained at the university to transform their communities through ICT and innovative solutions.
We need innovators. We need job creators integrating artificial intelligence and emerging technologies.
Meanwhile, the chairperson of the University Board of Directors, Justin Turina, urged graduates to uphold integrity and embrace innovation as they step into the next phase of their lives. Emphasized that the world needs problem solvers capable of driving meaningful community transformation.
As Board of Directors, we thank you very much for your dedication, your mentorship as far as shaping the career of our graduates today. Thank you for all the commitments, despite all the challenges that you go through. To our dear parents and guardians, thank you for entrusting us with your children. Your sacrifice cannot be taken for granted, and all that you do for our nation and for the graduates. And to our graduates today, remember that your degree is not the end of life. It's the beginning of responsibility. You are our ambassadors to this university. Carry the values of integrity, excellence, innovativeness, and service where you are going to be. The world does not need graduates, it needs problem solvers, ethical leaders, and entrepreneurs who can create job opportunities for others.
A total of 465 graduates were awarded certificates, diplomas, and degrees during the ceremony, comprising 224 males and 241 females.
Kyovula nyongera okwebaza bazadde bange ze bankuzanga ntya Katonda nga mpa abantu ekitiibwa era bye binnyambye okutambula olugendo luno okutuuka wano wendi.
Twebaza Katonda olw'omutesitesi oba omutandisi w'essimu lino olw'okuba nti yalabira wala ffenna tujja ne tuyiga era tubasuubiza nti ffe abayize bino mu mikolo egiddako tugenda kuba bantu balala nnyo, tetugenda kufaanagana bali abadde bawemula ku mikolo gy'abantu.
We do congratulate all the graduates from St. Lawrence University. And from our Women's Day series, with the International Women's Day around the corner, the National Women's Council of Uganda is calling for increased support to empower grassroots women leaders. Ahead of the celebrations at Kololo Independence Grounds, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is set to receive key issues affecting women as leaders urge balanced empowerment for both women and men to drive national development. We take a look at this report.
As you are aware, we are in the Women's Month, and particularly the Women's Week. We are celebrating Women's Day on the 8th of March.
With only a few days left to the celebration of International Women's Day, marked every 8th March, the National Women's Council of Uganda has raised concerns over the challenges still facing women, particularly at the grassroots level.
The challenge here is information flow. This one I have put a lot of emphasis on it because the structure of the Women's Council runs from the village. Each village has 5 women leaders. Every parish has 5 women leaders. Every sub-county or town council in this country has leaders. And every district has women leaders. And at the national level, we have also women leaders, where I happen also to be the national chair. We have parliament and we have cabinet. Decisions are taken from cabinet, taken to parliament, and they come to council. But now the major challenge is how information goes down to the women leaders, especially at the village level.
The council says grassroots women leaders who handle many community issues, including domestic violence, continue to struggle due to limited resources. According to the national chairperson of the council, Farida Chibowa, the council has done what it can to support women, but its efforts are hindered by inadequate funding.
Government puts a lot of money, government invests a lot of money in so many government programs, and they say such and such amount or percentage is going to the women. But how is this woman leader, especially a woman leader, because the woman leader has to have first-hand information. Information is power. The moment a woman leader at the village does not get the information, then that means the women that she leads at the village will not be in position to know what government has put in place.
The council's manager, Emily Akuro, also emphasized the need for greater support to enable leaders to effectively deliver information and services to women at the community level.
We have initiated a program that allows every woman council chairperson from every level to monitor households and see what they're doing Have they benefited from the program that government have been sending on the ground? If they have not, what can be done? They also monitor to see that the technical team at the district level and even sub-county now parish. The women council leaders are sitting on the committee of the PDM to make sure that the women get their 30%.
Kiboa further revealed that the council has organized the Women's Convention tomorrow, where members will discuss issues affecting women.
How have we been included as women in the governance of this country? How far have we been included in economic empowerment and participation? Because we, as women, we are entitled to benefit from this government in terms of participation. We are supposed to be empowered as women, but how far have we stretched? These are some of the things that we are going to discuss. We intend to identify the gaps and we shall make resolutions. We have key women that are going to be in this panel.
The outcomes of these discussions will be presented to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni during the national celebrations at Koro Independence Grounds on Sunday. She added that a national executive meeting bringing together women leaders from all districts of Uganda will be held on Saturday to review achievements and challenges in women's empowerment.
Annual Women's Conference, the mandatory annual Women's Conference. This annual Women's Conference is going to be at Hotel Africana. That one brings on board all the women, the members that constitute the council, the women leaders from all the districts and cities of this country. We reflect on how much we have done for the women of Uganda, because this council, it is like a women's parliament. This is our parliament where...
Meanwhile, Manager Emira Akuro stressed the importance of also empowering men, noting that focusing solely on women while neglecting boys would undermine balanced national development.
The other person that's really working hard to make sure that the lives of women improve, and encourage them to continue with what they're doing and even put more effort. We shouldn't give up. There is now an outcry also that women, that government and all institutions are focusing too much on women and ignoring the boy child. That's a concern that has come, and I'm also interested in it. The women's empowerment has taken decades and it's still ongoing. I also appreciate the fact that we need to go hand in hand with the boy child.
The council is now urging women in the Kampala metropolitan area to attend the International Women's Day celebrations this Sunday at Koro Independence Grounds, where President Museveni is expected to preside.
Njagala okwebaza nnyo n'essekwebaza His Excellency the President of Uganda olw'okuba nti awadde abakyala omukisa okuvaayo okwesimbawo mu bifo eby'enjawulo. Njagala okumwebaza era nti abakyala bawadde platform okulembera mu office ez'enjawulo. Ate era njagala okumukulisa akalulu kayiseemu nti yawangulidde mu percentage eyawaggulu.
Please come and join us. The President of Uganda, the outgoing and incoming, by the way. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is the outgoing and incoming president. So please come and join us in Kololo on the 8th to celebrate Women's Day.
Thank you so much, Julius Muhumuza, for that beautiful story there about women in the country. And in the same spirit with the Women's Day series, as Uganda prepares to join the rest of the world in marking the International Women's Day, the government says significant strides have been made in promoting gender equality, particularly in education and skills development. However, leaders say more investment is still needed to ensure women and girls full access to justice and economic opportunities. We do take a look.
Uganda will this Sunday join the rest of the world to commemorate International Women's Day, a global observance first recognized by the United Nations in 1975 to advance gender equality and celebrate the critical role of women in development, peace and leadership. This year's national theme, Scaling Up Investment to Accelerate Access to Justice for All Women and Girls in Uganda, highlights the need to stronger systems that protect women's rights while expanding opportunities for empowerment. As part of these efforts, the government of Uganda has intensified programs aimed at equipping youth and women with practical skills through reforms in the technical and vocational education and training sector. Guided by the TVET Policy 2019 and operationalized through TVET Act 2025, authorities are restructuring skilling institutions to provide industry-driven training aligned with labor market needs.
The purpose was for those girls who have not had an opportunity to have formal education to a reasonable level.
Key initiatives such as the Uganda Skills Development Project and the Presidential Initiative on Skilling the Girl Child are helping expand apprenticeship opportunities, scholarships, and vocational training for young people, particularly women and girls. These programs aim to boost employability, entrepreneurship, and inclusive economic growth across the country. Speaking to our reporter, the Commissioner for Technical and Vocational Education and Training at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Loy Abine Mwezi, said Uganda has registered notable progress in advancing gender equality in the education sector.
The education of girls and women specifically in Uganda today is different from how it was in some years ago. When you look at the statistics, for example, in the recently released results for P7, PROE, and O-level, you will realize that the numbers are comparable, and in some cases, girls are more than boys. What does that mean? It means that government of Uganda and the Ugandan citizens have realized that a girl child can compete favorably with a boy child. Of course, it has its own disadvantages in some cases. I think we have forgotten about the boy child.
She noted that enrollment rates between boys and girls are steadily balancing, reflecting sustained national effort to ensure equal access to education.
Of course, girls in most places, they study with boys. So the quality of education is relatively good. When you look at, we can talk about quality in terms of the competencies that the learners get. If you have looked at how the girls and women are making business, are doing their work and getting jobs, it shows you that the quality of education empowers them to be what they are. And also the environment. What used to hinder girls was that in schools there were no facilities that would enable them to get the education they deserved.
Dr. Wine added that an increasing number of women and girls are embracing technical and vocational education, acquiring practical skills that enable them to pursue entrepreneurship and professional trades. According to her, this shift is helping reduce economic dependence while expanding employment opportunities for women.
Surprisingly, girls, when they go to TVET, they perform very well. There is space for them. But as I already told you, the society, even in the schools where they are coming from, because when you look at technical vocational education and training, the formal one, serious formal one, starts after P7 and so forth, up to a PhD. But the teachers in the other general education system, they will start early. You are a girl, even at home. This one you will not manage. This one you will not manage. So at the end of the day, there are few people who know that girls can also do well in that other system. But those who have tested and gone there, they have been ambassadors, and girls are there. We have been there, and it is as if it is new, but it's not new. I am now 59 years old, but I went through TVET up to my PhD, it is in TVET.
However, she acknowledged that persistent culture norms and social barriers still prevent some girls from fully accessing education opportunities within their families and communities.
For example, you'll find in some areas, especially the rural areas, girls have to do a lot of housework compared to boys. And at times, there are still those traditional cultures where they say a girl should not go to school, should remain here, do this work. And of course, as women themselves, at times they tend to prefer to help.
Dr. Beine also called upon faith-based and community media platforms to intensify awareness campaigns program promoting technical education, especially in rural areas where information gaps remain significant.
So I want to believe that if media, especially the church media, which has values, which is bringing programs that are developmental, if it takes on the advocacy for education, then I think the country will not go wrong.
She congratulated women across the country for the progress made in leadership, business and community development and wished them a meaningful and reflecting International Women's Day. As the country prepares for the national celebrations at Kololo Independence Grounds, stakeholders are expected to reaffirm commitment to policies and investments that turn gender equality into tangible opportunities for every woman and girl in Uganda.
And yes, indeed, strong woman, strong family, and certainly because we are the Church of Uganda Family TV with us, you get the rare occasion of listening to the Archbishop offering guidance to us as believers in this country and across the world. And it's about that time that we do listen to the Archbishop.
Archbishop's Moment. Sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
Our strength is not actually received from our experience. Your experience is very good, but without the Good Shepherd, it is very good for nothing. I cannot depend for spiritual strength on the titles, the bishop, the venerable, the very reverend, the most reverend. It's good, it's so sweet by the way, but it cannot give you the energy you need in order to fight the powers of darkness. It is not about the title, it's about your commitment to God. It's about where you are ready to serve. It's about tapping into the Good Shepherd, our God. Well, do you know that you can have a lay reader who is tapping into the strength of the shepherd, and he can preach a better sermon than a canon. It's about being rooted. It's not about the title. And I know so many clergy who are preaching better than us bishops. So it's not about title.
Archbishop's Moment. Sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
Such a message from the Archbishop of Uganda advising us not to focus on the titles, but that we can seek in faith and certainly be able to deliver the service of the Almighty God. Now at that very moment, news at 8 goes into a very short break, and Tonin and I shall be right back. We'll be back from that very short break. It is news at 8 here on Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Philip Mulisa and I am with Tonena Raymond for sign language interpretation. And moving on in more news, the leadership of the National Unity Platform has addressed journalists at the party headquarters in Makerere, Kavule, outlining its position on recent political developments, electoral transparency, political prisoners and preparations for the upcoming local council elections. During the press conference, party leaders also raised concerns about the conduct of recent elections and called for greater accountability from state institutions. Our reporter Emmanuel Alingai has more to this report.
Addressing the media, NUP Secretary General David Lewis Luvongoya accused the Electoral Commission of failing to release key election documents known as declaration results forms, which record results from individual polling stations.
We announced that we were waiting for the Electoral Commission to upload DRR forms, the basis of which they declared Mr. Museveni winner of that election.
Luvongoya said that not more than a month after the election, the documents have still not been uploaded, making it difficult for Ugandans to independently verify the results announced by the Electoral Commission.
But we were talking about DRR forms from polling stations, and I can say that up to now, over a month later, those DRR forms have not been uploaded.
He also raised concern about military prisoners, saying several of their members remain in detention despite a Supreme Court ruling directing that civilians should not be tried in the military courts. Luvongoya revealed that the party legal team plans to initiate legal actions against the Director of Public Prosecutions for failing to transfer the cases to civilian courts.
We are going to sue the DPP, what we call contempt of court proceedings. We are going to sue the DPP in contempt because since last year up to now, these cases have not been transferred to civilian courts.
Leader of opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, said the party has begun consultations with its leaders across the country, starting with Kampala as part of preparation for the next political phase.
We have begun to meet our leaders at various levels, and we want to keep doing this regionally, sub-regionally, if you like. And so we have started with Kampala as a sub-region. Our leaders are flag bearers, those who went through, those who were rigged out, our mobilization leaders at various levels. So we started with Kampala as a sub-region to connect with them, to keep moving.
Senyonyi also called on religious, culture and opinion leaders to speak out against injustice and violation of human rights.
As a party, we want to appreciate the voices that keep coming through. You see, we have had some voices speak out against all of these injustices. Religious leaders, cultural leaders, and other opinion leaders. And we want to appreciate them. And as we appreciate them, we want to call on the other leaders that fall in those categories to keep speaking out.
He condemned the continued heavy security deployment at the home of party president Robert Kyagulanyi, describing it as unnecessary siege.
The siege at our president's home continues to happen by police and the military. We have had some few spokespersons of government previously say, well, no one is looking for the Honorable Kyagulanyi. He is free to be at his home and so on, but the siege continues to happen. The military and police are still heavily deployed outside his home, inside his compound as well. That continues to happen today. The state has yet to tell us what they are doing there. We want to know. And if there is no clarity about what you're doing there, please leave.
He urged security agencies to refocus their efforts on tackling raising insecurity across the country.
There's a lot of work that security forces should be engaged in. There's insecurity happening in the city and in our country, as you have been seeing. There's a lot of theft, robberies, armed robberies, panga wielding men. We have seen the videos.
Looking ahead, The party confirmed it will actively participate in the upcoming local council elections, encouraging supporters across the country to organize and mobilize despite what they describe as challenges in the electoral process.
LC1 elections are around the corner. We are coming for that too. And as a party, we are getting set. We hope the guidelines from the Electoral Commission come through very quickly. See, the challenge also is that sometimes the Electoral Commission might avail all the details there are to our colleagues in the NRM, and then for us, 1 or 2 weeks to the elections, they say, here are the guidelines, and so you have 1 week to scamper around.
Emmanuel Alingai, welcome back from Makerere Kavli. And now at Parliament, the Parliament's Public Accounts Committee is pressing the Judiciary to act swiftly on bail refunds after revelations that billions of shillings remain unclaimed. While the Justice Ministry insists that the funds are secure, lawmakers argue that fear, ignorance and bureaucratic hurdles are preventing citizens from accessing money that is rightfully theirs. We take a look at this report.
The Public Accounts Committee has urged the Judiciary to ensure that claimants of bail money receive their refunds in accordance with the law. Park noted that many individuals failed to recover their bail deposits for various reasons, even after the arrested persons have been released. This concern was raised during a meeting between the Judiciary and the Public Accounts Committee at Parliament.
When you make it estimates.
According to the Auditor General's 2024-2025 report, the Judiciary recorded an impressive performance rate of 97%. However, concerns were raised over a total of 54.8 billion Uganda shillings that remains under the custody of the Judiciary. The money belonging to bailers who are legally entitled to refunds has yet to be released. It was questioned why such a significant amount continues to be withheld despite clear legal provisions requiring repayment.
People leave their money there. And once they are given bail, they don't even want to look back.
To look back.
Eh? So I wanted to ask you what happens to that money? It belonged to somebody who never looked back. Eh? So how is it handled?
In response, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs assured the committee that the funds remain intact. He clarified, however, that the actual amount held in the Judiciary's account is 26 billion Uganda shillings for bail, not the previously stated 54 billion Uganda shillings. He further explained that the money is being withheld for various reasons, which account for the discrepancy.
It is true that there is money which is on account which has not been corrected. And there are many reasons. How much? I have 26 billion on account. What they were confusing as 54 is actually 26 billion for bail, but also we have got 24 billion for security guarantees.
On the other hand, Honorable Patrick Oshove proposed that the Judiciary should obtain detailed information about charities to ensure they duly receive their funds. He emphasized that this measure would not only guarantee transparency, but also streamline processes, thereby reducing complaints and easing administrative work.
So all those are details that go around this thing. So my proposal, at the point of taking this person's bail money, it should be at that very point, that's when you collect his information, how and where they want their money to be deposited.
The Permanent Secretary further explained that for the funds to be released to the rightful owners, a court order must first be issued. He assured the committee that the Judiciary is working tirelessly to ensure that all complainants receive their refunds. In addition, he called upon all bailers to collect their money.
Security deposits and 24 billion is the bail. And this 26 billion cannot be paid until a court order has been issued. And you know the process of having the court order is not just a one-day affair. Person can delay here, another delays in Masaka, another delays in another Karamoja, the whole country. That money is not too much compared to the people who have deposited their bail. So I appeal to the public I appeal to all those who have had cases in court to claim for their bail.
In Uganda, many people are reluctant or afraid to go back and collect their bail refund, even after a case concludes, and large sums of over 26 billion shillings remain unclaimed with the judiciary because people don't come forward to claim it. With reasons including ignorance about the refund process or knowledge that they are entitled to the money, fear of being rearrested or charged again if they return to court, and the burden of cumbersome procedures such as needing original receipts or traveling to long distances to Kampala to lodge for applications. Because of these fears and logistical barriers, even those legally entitled to their bail deposits often abandon their funds instead of pursuing refunds.
And now, moving on, efforts to promote inclusive education in Uganda are steadily gaining ground, but challenges remain, especially for learners with special needs. In Kavale Municipality, Hornby High School has become a beacon of hope for visually impaired learners in the Kigezi sub-region. The school hosts the only specialized unit in the area dedicated to supporting students with visual impairments. However, despite the progress, the institution continues to grapple with shortages of specialized equipment and trained personnel. We do have this story.
Hornby High School, located in Kavale Municipality, appears like any other secondary school in Uganda, but within its compound is a specialized unit dedicated to learners with visual impairments, making it the only institution in Kigezi sub-region that specifically admits such students. During a recent visit, visually impaired learners were seen attending classes alongside other students and actively participating in classroom activities, reflecting the school's commitment in inclusive education.
So many years back, when the founder, Madame Costins, started there as a missionary and established education for the girl child. Alongside, she came to understand that there are some students who are failing to acquire education or the pupils just because of their visual impairment. So she introduced in that system. Later on along the way, the government took over.
The head teacher attributed George Tumsime said the school currently has 24 visually impaired students enrolled for the first term, with 14 more expected to join, bringing the total to the number of 38. However, he revealed that the school continues to face significant challenges, particularly the lack of adequate learning equipment and resources needed to support the learners effectively.
For example, if I was to talk about one of the equipments, which is very, very important, the Orbit readers. It's like a laptop where these people use their hands to keep the notes, to put there all sorts of information. But it's very expensive. Actually, one equipment is worth 8.8 million Ugandan shillings. So you can imagine. So what we have always done some kind of sourcing. And apparently we have about 7 of them. But again, you are supposed to be knowing that all these students are supposed to be having access to these equipment, so it becomes a challenge. However, when we categorize them, then we say, for this week you will use it, this other week this other person will use it. They also have other machines, the braille machines, the packing braillers, we have the embossers. So we keep on trying to see how best they can keep on sharing.
Meanwhile, the head teacher in charge of the visually impaired unit, Mary Gabe, highlighted the shortage of the trained teachers who can effectively handle braille and other communication methods used for the students.
Well, one of the challenges that we have as teachers is about the labor shortage. You find that you are only maybe 3 or 2 teachers who are specialized in the language of these visually impaired learners, and so you're responsible for transcribing for all these other teachers because they can't understand the language, and having very many learners, you find it is hectic for you.
Some of the learners also shared their experiences, appreciating for the school's efforts in providing them with an opportunity to study. They noted that the technological advancements have greatly improved their learning process. However, they still face challenges, including the lack of specialized teachers for some subjects and technical difficulties caused by Kavale's cold weather, which sometimes affects the typing machines and interrupts lessons.
The journey of education, to me and to us as students with visual impairment, has always been modified day by day with improvement of advanced technologies that are coming in to enhance or to facilitate our studies.
The facilities are still limited compared to our education because it is very hard for our parents to support us in education, in buying us our facilities to use in the education, but the school has tried to do that, and it is high time that the government can also give us a helping hand as our education.
Hombe High School currently has a total of enrollment of 527 students, 38 of whom are visually impaired, highlighting the school's current role in advancing inclusive education in Kigezi region.
And from the international scene, the US-Iran war continues to widen as Tehran launches retaliatory missile and drone attacks against the United States, Israel, and allied position across the Gulf region following intense US and Israel strikes inside Iranian territory. Iran has targeted US military bases, Gulf state cities and infrastructure and energy facilities, while American and Israel forces press on with bombardments inside Iran. We do take a look at this.
Joint attacks by US and Israel has pulled the wider Gulf region into active conflict with Iran. On the sixth day of the war, Tehran continued with missile and drone barrages on the neighboring countries. Iran has targeted multiple countries including the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, Jordan, Iraq and Kuwait, turning the entire Gulf into a front line in the widening war. In the latest, Iran fired fresh salvo of missiles towards Qatar's defense ministry, says that its military is working to intercept an incoming missile attack as loud blasts reverberated across Doha and smoke was seen over the city. Following the attacks, Qatar's PM Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani has lambasted Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi during a phone call, accusing Tehran of trying to drag their neighbors into war. British Maritime Security Agency UKMTO also said that a tanker was hit by a large explosion in the waters of Kuwait, causing an oil spill. The agency reported that the personnel on board the anchored tanker witnessed a large explosion on the port side of the vessel and saw a small craft leave the vicinity of the Gulf state's Mubarak al-Kabir area. The claim, however, has been disputed by Kuwait's Interior Ministry, which said that the incident occurred outside the territorial waters of the state of Kuwait at a distance of no less than 60 kilometers from Mubarak al-Kabir port. Parallel to this, UK's Ministry of Defence has revealed that a Shahid-like drone which had targeted its airbase RAF Akrotiri located in Cyprus was not launched from Iran. Cyprus clarified that the drone that struck the British airbase at midnight originated from Beirut in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia's defense ministry said it had intercepted 3 cruise missiles outside the city of Al-Kharj, a city south of Riyadh. The kingdom had previously warned that it reserves the full right to respond to blatant Iranian aggression after a series of drone and missile strikes targeted capital Riyadh and the country's eastern province. The Omani Navy has also rescued the 24 crew members of a container ship struck by missiles in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian forces claimed complete control of the strait a day after Trump said the US Navy was ready to escort tankers through the channel. Parallel to this, the UAE has strongly condemned the attempted targeting of the Republic of Turkey with an Iranian ballistic missile. In a statement, UAE's Ministry of Foreign Affairs affirmed that the expansion of attacks to additional countries is condemned under all legal and political norms and constituted a serious escalation that undermines de-escalation efforts and heightens regional tensions. In the meantime, Dubai Airport has confirmed that most flights are still suspended, urging passengers not to travel.
And that marks the end of our bulletin this evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Philip Mulisa and I've been with Tonena Raymond for sign language interpretation. Good evening and do stay with us.